We have many things to discuss. If you don't know me, hi, my name is Pandora Moon. I'm a feature entertainer and just general exotic dancer. And I just competed in my first pageant this weekend, which was Miss United States 2023 at Candy's Adult Playground in Waterford, Pennsylvania. And I'm gonna tell you guys about it. I tried to vlog as much as I could, and the first day I was able to get a solid amount of stuff. As the competition went on, it got more and more difficult to do that. So I decided I was going to film this in a little bit of a different way than what I was originally planning to do. And that is that I am going to give you guys the story and fill in where I can with the content that I was able to create. I'm sorry if you guys were counting on more coverage, but unfortunately, like, it was so busy, and it was literally us on go mode from like 2 in the afternoon to 2 a.m. every single day. So, here's the story of how everything came to be. So, the competition started on Thursday. I drove out to Pittsburgh on Wednesday. And I stayed the night at my friend's apartment because it was a little bit closer of a drive from Pittsburgh than from Philly. And I would have rather have taken the 2 hours off of my trip, took a nap, went to bed, did whatever, and then drove out to Erie, which is where our hotel was. So we got to our hotel, and it was a little sketchy. But that was not to the fault of the pageant director or anybody that had anything to even do with the pageant. The hotel that we were booked in had actually lied about the quality of the hotel, how long it had been sitting there, how long it was built, a lot of things. So we get to the hotel, and right away my friend and I are like, okay, this is interesting. But it wasn't until it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. My friend gets up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, and she's like, Pandora? I'm like, yeah. She's like, all the lights are off and the bathroom door is closed. How is there a light coming out of our shower right now? And I look over at her and I'm like, what are you talking about? The wall in our shower, you could see through. And then we realized there's a vent in our bathroom that is not connected to an air duct or anything. Because we realized you could see this sketchy doorway through like the corner of the vent. But when we had gone to the other side of the motel, there was no door that matched up with, because all of the lights on the other side of the hotel, as far as rooms, the lights were all off. And the light in this room was very clearly on, and it was like a cracked door that you could see through there. So I immediately texted my pageant director. I was like, hey, I'm sorry. I know you're asleep right now, but like there's an issue. And then the next day she was like, I'm so sorry, you guys. We're gonna switch hotels. And again, it's not to the fault of her at all. She just, wanted us to be as close as we could to the competition for the best price. And, she had to room a lot of girls. So I was like, I'm not upset at all. It happens. If anything, it just makes for a good story. The next day, we had a meeting at 2 o'clock in the afternoon in one of the rooms with the pageant director, the MC, turned in our music. We were just kind of like talking about details about the pageant. And I got to meet everyone for the first time, which was really, really exciting. I have never been in a room with more professionally, competitively trained talent. Holy shit. It was one of the coolest things of my life. So that night was opening night of the pageant. And basically, the way that these pageants work, it's that you are given a time slot, you perform a show, you do the best you can, you get scored on it, and the rest is in the judges' hands. So my opening night, my show was Candyland, and something had happened with the technology, and my music ended up getting messed up a little bit. absolutely terrifying and very humbling for me because that was my first ever competitive performance. But I was told that I recouped very well. The music was back on track. The rest of the show went really, really well. But it's funny because when we were at the meeting, I realized I have no props for any of my shows. I was not going to be on caliber with anybody like competing in this pageant. As we are like prepping during the day, like we had a couple hours between meetings and the time that we had to be at the actual club. So I ran out to Walmart and for my Candyland show, I picked up a tarp, like for the ground so the floor doesn't get sticky, strawberry syrup, sprinkles, marshmallows, and a bag of sugar. The third song of my set is Pour Some Sugar on Me by Def Leppard. So I took a bag of sugar and literally dumped it on my naked body. It literally felt like I was kneeling in sand. My knees were so scraped up from it. And I ended up dumping the strawberry syrup all over myself and then the sprinkles, and I started eating marshmallows at people on stage. It was absolutely wild. One of the stickiest but most fun experiences of my life. I ended up spending 2.5 hours in VIP with this guy that night and my friend, and it was very interesting to say the least. But it was a lot of fun. And the next day we had something going on during the day. I don't remember what it was. All I know is that every single night I was like, oh, I can't wait to sleep in tomorrow. And then they're like, psych, you have something going on tomorrow at 2 in the afternoon. So I never got to sleep in. After whatever we had to do, I decided I was going to do my show that was based around The Purge that night. And at this point, we were still unsure if girls were going to get cut or not because there were a lot of girls competing and they didn't want it to drag on too long. So I had to think in the back of my head, okay, which show am I okay with potentially sacrificing? And the option was my Purge show or my my country show. So I decided I was going to sacrifice the country show. So I ended up going to Walmart again and picking up corn syrup and like a bunch of stuff to make fake blood. And I ran to Party City. I got this fake machete and this fake crowbar. I had my color guard rifle from years ago sitting in my trunk, and I haven't done color guard. I retired 4 years ago. So I make this fake blood. I have all the fake weapons and everything. And then I'm like, you know what? To add this to the next level, I am going to start spinning a rifle. So I pulled this rifle out of my car for the first time in 4 years, and I brought that on stage, and somehow I didn't have a single drop. Somehow it went flawlessly. I did hit a light at one point when I threw it, but it was okay. I caught it. So that went over really well, and then they pull out this kiddie pool with a tarp and the corn syrup and the machete. I started doing questionable things with the machete, with the fake blood all over myself. I had some bloody handprints on my butt. It was a really, really fun time. And then immediately I had to run to the shower and go rinse off because they were literally out of food coloring at Walmart. Like literally completely out of food coloring. I've never seen that before. And the next best thing that I found was Kool-Aid powder. So my fake blood was made up of corn syrup, Kool-Aid powder, instant coffee, and then like diluted with water to make it thinner. It looked really, really good. It was just super sticky, and like some parts of my legs are still stained from like kneeling in it. The show went very, very well. I finally got to run it with a Lyra, which is super exciting because I haven't gotten to do that before. A lot of my shows, pretty much the entirety of all of my shows, were just completely winged. So then day 3 comes around and we get called in to have a luncheon. It's like a barbecue outside in like the courtyard of this club. This club is so cool. They have this little fenced in courtyard in the middle of the property, and we had a barbecue and they gave out the mini awards, to which I was awarded Best Aerial Act for newcomers, which is very exciting. And then I was also given Best Props Newcomer, which is crazy because like I mentioned, I walked into this with no props at all, and I completely pulled these out of nowhere. So I guess I'm good at winging it. After the luncheon, we had some time to prep again, a couple hours in between times. So my friend and I ran to Walmart because she needed a cake for her set, and I was like, I am just going to get whatever cowboy looking stuff stuff I can find because I'm doing my country show tonight. So I found this like Little Tikes looking horse. I'll put a picture of it here. I rode around stage on that. Like literally wheeled around stage naked on this horse. And I got a horse on a stick, like one of those, like, you know what I'm talking about? The looks like a broomstick with a horse head on it. And I gutted the head. I took all the stuffing out of it and put a bubble gun in it. So then for my last song, after riding around on this Little Tikes horse, I was galloping around stage naked, again, dry humping this stick with a horse on it, and then it starts blowing bubbles out of its mouth. I got a video of it and I heard so many people laughing. I mean, like, oh my god, that's so weird. I love it. Like, that reaction was like really what I was living for. I went over really, really well. It's funny because I just debuted that country show a couple weeks ago. We did a country night at my club, and I do not listen to country music. Country music is not my thing, and I only put that show together for that night, and it had such a good crowd response that I was like, all right, I think I have to keep this in my repertoire. I might try like 1 or 2 more times, see how it goes. And I did the show. The whole crowd was so into it, and like the horses and everything I added to it. I had a lasso. I was lassoing. I put my foot up above my head with the lasso. I'll throw a clip in here. It went so well. And earlier that day, right before the competition had started, we had like a little in-house pole competition between all the girls to compete for pole champion. And again, because this was my first competition ever, they have the divisions for newcomers and they have divisions for masters. Newcomers, you're a newcomer until you win like a certain amount of like big titles, and then master is like the big league. So I technically wasn't eligible to win Miss Nude United States for this pageant because I am a newcomer. However, when I did the pole competition, I was tied for first place with another very talented dancer, also her first competition, and oh my god, she blew me away. But yeah, so I managed to snag newcomer pole champion, and then I was also awarded best dancer newcomer, which I wasn't really expecting either. And my friend was helping do the scores and like, you know, helping like disperse the titles and everything. And she walks up to me before the award ceremony and she goes, I don't want you to cry. Just know, like, in my heart, like, you did really well. You know, like, I love you so much. I'm so proud of you. And I'm sitting here with this sense of impending doom. Like, oh my god, I put all of this work into everything and I did not win anything. Then best dancer and pole champ came out. And then they did the announcement for newcomer of the year. Boom, 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 and boom. I won the highest title that I was eligible for. My first show. Not to mention, I got 2 tiaras because I also got one for the pole competition. So, boom. But no, for real, like, I am so grateful for this. I feel like I grew so much as a performer just over the course of the last 3 days. Like, it's absolutely insane. And like, I met some of the sweetest girls I've ever met. I loved everybody I was competing with. Everyone did so good. Like, it was really anybody's game. And of course, the lovely lady who was awarded Miss Nude United States, like, had it in the bag. Like, I was not surprised at all. She deserved it. She's been working so hard. I'm so proud of her. So that was the competition. And then this morning when I was talking with the pageant director, she invited me to come to the ED Expo under her booth, and I was offered a part of a magazine cover. And I'm also going to be working her booth, and I'm going to be one of the featured girls on her posters, which means there's going to be a vinyl with a giant picture of my face on it. So, like, there's a lot of really exciting things going on right now. And then as soon as I got home, I got a message saying that I got an inquiry for a booking in Wisconsin. So I'm gonna be doing that. I have a couple more shows that I'm going to be working on mixing over the next couple of days. And then I am going to start prepping for other shows. My next competition coming up is the Stripper Olympics in August. And my next big show is going to be Exotica in Miami in July. So I have a lot of really cool things coming up, and that was my first time announcing the expo thing. So if anyone's going to be attending, I really hope to see you there. I really hope to see you guys at Exotica. Exotica is open to non-industry folks as well. So if there's anyone on here who wants to come meet me, I will be there, and I am so looking forward to hanging out with everybody and enjoying being a part of the team, because finally I don't feel awkward calling myself a feature entertainer. Now I hold 3 national titles, 2 mini titles. I'm getting bookings. My career is finally starting, and I'm like so happy about it. So that is all for today, and I hope you enjoyed this video and this little kind of intel on, you know, a little behind the scenes stuff. I am debating vlogging more. I have a lot of stuff coming up, so if I can, I will. But I know I tried to document some of this stuff on TikTok, but like it was just like I had so many incomplete videos and it was just gonna be so choppy. So I figure I was just going to pull what I could from my Snapchat stories and whatever I was able to record. So thank you for watching and sitting through this long ass video. Make sure you subscribe, and I have another fun announcement coming up soon. Stay tuned. Bye.
Daydream.